the NFL's Central Division, the final stretch of the season meant games in bad weather.
I was told that, oh, Joe Kapp will do real well in Minnesota because he's been to Canada. But you never get used to it. And that's one of Bud Grant's coaching points, that nobody can ever get used to it. You just have to mentally get yourself prepared.
He had stories that he would tell us. One of them was a story that he told us about building the Alaskan pipeline.
We were behind schedule because it was too cold. We'd put people on the bulldozer, and they'd drive the bulldozer. Pretty soon they got to get down and get a cup of coffee and get warmed up, get more clothes on, go back out. We were way behind. And finally the Eskimos were up there. They learned how to ride the bulldozer, and they put them up there. Well, they sat there all day. Obviously, the Eskimo has some advantage.
They tested the skin on the Eskimos, and they tested, metabolism and everything else. And they came to the conclusion that there was absolutely no difference. The only difference was that the Eskimos, when they went out and sat on the bulldozers, they expected to be cold, but they knew they had a job to do.
Well, we're going to be cold, but we can still play football.
So he convinced us, and we bought a ticket to that story.
Grant banned heaters from the Minnesota sideline. With only the thought of victory keeping them warm, the Vikings met the Lions in Week 11.
This game was Thanksgiving, and it was snowing, raining. They didn't take care of the field very well.
Despite the conditions, Jim Marshall and Alan Page combined for one of the year's remarkable plays. The Vikings added another shutout and improved to 10-1.
The thing that you prove is, of course, that you can play when it's cold. That's been proven many times in the NFL, and you can play when it's cold. So that's what we wanted to emphasize.
At the Vikings Metropolitan Stadium, both teams shared the same sideline, and crafty veterans knew how to get around Grant's heater ban.
Your opponents would be sitting about 20 feet away from you, and they had great big heaters and stuff blowing all over. So you always made it a point when you came off on the sidelines, you'd always run down past their bench, and you could get a little warmth, as you ran past.
Despite the occasional cheat, the ability to withstand the cold became a matter of pride among the Viking players.
You watch the Vikings come on the field, we don't have sleeves.
Nice day.
And I remember Bill Brown walking down in front of the other team, scratching the scabs off his arm, letting it start to bleed before the game in the cold weather. Just, a little psychological thing that they got involved in. They bought it, but they did it more than I did. I just said, left it up to them, and they parlayed it into an advantage for us.
And yes, I think it was an advantage, and but not much, point and a half maybe.
The Vikings parlayed the makeup of Metropolitan Stadium and the 20-foot Viking statue that stood in the end zone into another psychological advantage.
When the sun would drop over the back of the stadium, wind would come up, the temperature would drop 10, 15, sometimes 20 degrees. We would, under our breath, start saying, Odin, 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 Viking god of war. All of a sudden, the wind would come. Odin, Odin. This chill would come through. You see your opponents going, what manner of men are these? These dudes are crazy. They thought we had some kind of a spiritual thing going on, and it was simply that it was going to get cold.
In Week 13, the Vikings played the snowiest game in Minnesota history.
Oh, he's got it! He's got it!
The conditions did little to cool Joe Kapp's fiery spirit.
Wait a minute!
Down 7-3, Kapp lobbied Grant to let him throw.
Whose ball we playing with? Let's go now. That's our ball.
And Joe kept saying, well, when are we going to open up, Coach?
I really feel that we can run up there and I can just 34, 35 punch at them. Field conditions aren't that
conducive to that kind of a game.
And I'd say, Joe, as long as the game is this tight and it was close, we'll just do what we're doing.
Need something, maybe something with a stop or a check.
I'm thinking flats and wire bootleg.
Flat is tough too.
He was a real ally on the sideline, even though you knew he was Mr. Conservative.
So the 81 divide or something, the basic play just so we can 61-3 stop, something to...
If I'd have truly listened to him, I probably wouldn't have made it in the NFL because I had to get more offense going. I had to take control of the signal calling where I did it my way.
Oh, the man hold you back. The man hold the horse back.
Finally, along the fourth quarter, we're behind, and I said, okay, Joe, we're going to open up now.
I got Gene Washington. I said, Gene, we're going to split the zone. Now, how do you want the ball? You want the laces up or on the side, or where do you want the laces? Boom.
Kemp back to pass. Sets up, trying to throw deep. He's got his man out there. Got it at the 15, the 10, the 5. Washington over for a touchdown. Gene Washington. Viva Zapata!
The win was the Vikings' 12th straight. For the playoffs, the Vikings would enjoy home field and all the advantages that come with it.